excited to welcome Christina, Nicole, and Sanjeev. Christina and Nicole founded Golden Heart Wellness, which gives people the tools to take their power back when it comes to their health. They use epigenetic hair testing to explore the bigger picture of symptoms and dig deeper into other lifestyle factors that may be intertwined to create a healing plan of action. Sanjeev founded Pros, which is a brand full of amazing products committed to elevating health and performance in 5 key areas: immunity, restful sleep, relief plus recovery, emotional balance, and focus plus clarity. Thank you so much for joining EricsHouse today. Christina, Nicole, and Sanjeev are going to share essential tips to help stabilize your mind and body alongside grief. We will share a guide to wellness in grief and setting realistic expectations.
Well, thank you so much, Maddie. Grief is such a systemic thing for the body. At times, your heart can hurt, your muscles can ache, and definitely your stomach can feel upset. And sometimes we'll go and we'll reach for those, really comforting foods that may not be all that healthy, but it's okay. You need a time in which you can just be at peace and be at calm and have elements of joy in your life, and food does that for you. But one of the things that also happens is that you kind of have some digestive issues that don't allow you to necessarily eat some of the good foods that maybe you should be doing, or even enough. And that can cause a lot of further issues as well too, because remember, food is fuel. And so that's why we've got some really exciting kind of ideas and some tips for all of you to kind of help with your health, help with your nutrition, and most importantly allow you to get through this grief journey in a way that's very positive for you. So excited to kind of share that today, huh?
Yes, let's do it.
Sweet, let's do it.
All right, so the first thing that we're going to be talking about is nutrition. And we want to preface it by saying, what you're going through is totally normal. And nutrition does have an impact physically on the body. It's normal to want to go to comforting foods like sweets or maybe like unhealthier coping mechanisms like alcohol. But what we want to do is tell you that it's not about shaming and saying one food is bad and one food is good. We want to set you up to feel your best during this time. To make meals, it would be soups. Soups are really great and easy to pack in. You can pack in lentils, you can pack in vegetables, you can pack in protein, and that's going to really help nourish the gut. And not only that, it's a warm food, so warming foods in itself are very comforting. Another good way to pack in a lot of nutrients, and that is an easy meal, are stir fries. So once again, it's very easy to mix and match different vegetables. You can do gluten-free whole grains and pack in a lot of fiber. We know during this time, it could be very easy to just forget to drink water. And so a good tip is to get a large water bottle like this. It's 40 ounces. And that way you can know and set an easy goal for yourself to just get through 2 of these a day. And that way you're not trying to keep track of a bunch of little water bottles that you've gone through throughout the day. Another good thing is to make sure that you are adding in the electrolytes, because that's what helps hydrate the cell and remove toxins from the body, which will help improve your energy and improve sleep. So next we're going to talk about how grief can show up in the body different ways and how you can help navigate that. So one thing that might happen is you may lose your appetite. And so what I want to say about that is I know it's hard to make yourself eat, but what you need to know is if you ignore your hunger cues, it's going to start telling you in different ways that it's hungry. And so that might show up with disturbed sleep. It might show up as even more intense mood issues. So it's going to let you know one way or another. And so it's so important to really just push yourself to get in nutrient dense meals, even if they're small. And so one way that you can help yourself if you don't have much of an appetite is by working up an appetite. So getting out and moving, even if it's for 20 minutes a day, and it doesn't have to be intense. It could be a simple nice little walk, which in itself helps with your mental health. But just getting your body moving is going to start working up that appetite, so it makes you a little hungry and makes you want to eat. Another good tip that helps is setting timers, because sometimes your mind is just occupied and so you can literally forget to eat. So you could utilize your phone, set reminders throughout the day, and maybe set goals to get in a certain amount of calories in each time that you're eating. But going back to the nutrition, make sure that even if it's small, make sure that they are nutrient dense, because that's really going to support your gut and in return support your mind. Another thing is sometimes eating can feel like a chore, so sometimes drinking your nutrients could be an easier option for you. Smoothies are a great way to pack in all that you need, the fiber, the antioxidants, the vitamins, the minerals, the protein. You could pack it all into one little drink, and that's much easier to just sip on than having to eat a huge meal. So that's a great option too.
And I am very good at the second one because I am an emotional eater. So here I am, friends. So this one's really close to my heart because as I shared in the last year, my mom was an alcoholic and she took her life, and I learned very young that food was soothing for me. And so I am an overeater. And so really I have to, when I get into that, and I still kind of do it, I'm like, food makes me feel good. I just put healthier stuff that I don't really want to grab now. Like so I don't even have it in my house. But the part of it is that we have to remember who we are. I'm going to try not to cry. We have to remember that food is not going to soothe our soul. It's not. We have to soothe our soul. And, we have to have the best relationship with ourselves. So, what helps me and what could help you is that I have to remember who I am. You have to remember who you are, because you have to love yourself. You have to nourish yourself. And really, it's easier said than done. I mean, I don't know if I shared last year, but, when I had a woman tell me, she was actually, my naturopath said to me, you need to learn to love yourself. I would have rather have been stabbed in the eye. And that's the honest to God truth. And I know that sounds abrupt, but it's the truth. So I'm trying to relate to you you're like, love yourself. But we just have to. And now here I am, a year later that I'm getting there, right? Because when you don't have that, you're looking to make, to fill the hole. And the other part is when there's scarcity of food, you eat fast. And so we're not mindfully, we're actually like, oh my gosh, I must get all this in. And so what happens is it takes 20 minutes for your gut and brain to talk to each other, meaning 20 minutes. So for instance, I will eat something that's so good and I'll eat it so fast. And then after the 20 minutes, my body's finally like, what are you doing? And then you're like, you feel like overfed and not good. So just tell enjoy it. I know it's hard, but if you can just realize that your relationship with you is the best and most important relationship you will ever have. So that, if I could give you that is the most important, is just remember who you are. Ask the food to nourish your body before you eat. That will actually start the digestive enzymes moving. It literally does, your brain. And then you've slowed your digestive system down to where you can actually settle in and you can enjoy your food. Supplement tips for you guys, and I'm only going to give you a couple of them because I don't want to go through a whole list. And just so you know, we'll put them in the show notes so that you guys can so you don't have to try and remember like what did she do. You don't have to try and rewind it, whatever. It'll be in the show notes so that we can make it really easy for you. And please know that supplements do not replace food. So you have to, like she said, nourish your gut. And then the first one would be a multivitamin, because a multivitamin, when we are going through bouts of stress and things that, just take a lot of energy from us, we need to make sure that we're filling in the gaps. And a multivitamin would do that for you, to fill in the gaps. Second, my favorite is magnesium. I love this thing so much. So magnesium lotion and magnesium, but I love the magnesium lotion. And the reason I do is because magnesium sits in the tissues, and so our heart is what needs it the most. And your heart is the only organ that doesn't absorb it. So if you take this, you put it on your hands and then you rub it on your chest, on your heart, it'll absorb, and you'll find that it goes into the tissues, and it literally, you can feel like the anxiousness start to come down. And they're great for sleep, it's great for like muscles, but magnesium really is one of my favorites, because when you're stressed also, you fly through magnesium. And so it's super important to always keep that up, because it really helps to keep the dopamine and the serotonin up, and it works with a lot of other of your vitamins and supplements, so that they all work together beautifully.
Meditation is important because it really sets the space for 1, acceptance, and 2, a place of healing. So like I said, it's going to look different for everybody. And meditation, it could be walking, it could be yoga, it could be deep breathing, it could be stretching. But the main point is to really get you to that present moment. Some good resources that I like, one is called Headspace. It's an app, and it's guided meditations. That's what I personally like, because I'm just not someone who could go sit in a corner and think of guiding myself. So I need someone to guide me guide me through it, and it's gonna make it a lot easier. The thing that I love about it too, it's an app, and they also have an interactive thing on Netflix if you have Netflix. And so a lot of people, and most people do have Netflix, so it's an easy way to access it. Another thing that I like, it's a free resource, is YouTube. If you search grief meditation, there are so many amazing guided meditations on YouTube, and it's absolutely free, so that is a great one. One that I personally enjoy, it's called Wellness on the Farm. Sounds kind of silly, but her voice is so soothing. For me personally, I think it's very relaxing when you have a nice calm woman's voice. And then she has these beautiful images of like nature, and so it's just very calming, and she does a great job. One other thing is an app called Better Sleep, and it is also guided meditations, but it's specifically designed to help you wind down and sleep better. Lastly, what I want to touch on is the 5 sense technique. And so this is really good if you feel like you're very anxious, you're overwhelmed, you're outside of your body. This is a good technique that you could do anywhere at any time, and it's a free resource. So what you want to do is first it's called the 5 sense technique. So first you want to look for 5 things around you, and you're going to say them out loudly. For instance, I see a light, I see a camera, I see a table. So you're going to say 5. And then you're going to do 4. Feel 4 sensations. Okay, I feel my hair, I feel my shirt, and you're gonna go through 4 sensations. And then you're gonna do 3 sounds. Okay, I can hear the air conditioning. I can hear someone rolling away on their chair. So three things you can hear. And then 2 smells, and then 1 taste. And so what that does is you utilize all your senses and you come back into your body. And so that's a great way to always come back to the present moment.
And then I'm going to talk about movement, because I'm always moving. Movement is really important when we are in a state of grief, in a state of anything in our head. And so this is another thing that I've used. I don't work out because I want to be fit. I work out so I shut the people upstairs off. Like, they stop talking upstairs. I take them and they go to bed. But I really, I have to move. So, and when you move, you really are, you're moving your body, but your lymphatic system is moving. Everything's starting to move, and it's super important, because then you can get out of your brain. And I know that sometimes, maybe you don't have a gym, or maybe you don't have, certain things that are there for you, like at your disposal, but you can go for a walk. And what you can do when you go for a walk, you can just realize, like, go back to the basics, right? Meaning, like, get outside, walk, notice the birds chirping, get in nature. Ever notice, like, when you've been, like, at the beach for a day, you come back and you feel amazing? You're like, one, you feel tan or whatever, but you also, you're getting vitamin D, and you're grounding into the ground because you're barefoot and you're running around, and you're just outside. Like, you don't have your phone, you don't have any electronics, you're outside. And so nature will heal us if we allow it. And then, you can, You can turn on, I mean, we used to, like, just to get my wiggles out, I would just turn on YouTube, like a dance jam or whatever, and you just dance it out. The nice thing about dancing it out is you activate your left and your right brain. So when you're activating your left and your right brain, that is basically turning everything on so they can talk to each other, so that then we get all of the, and when you move, you're working the trauma out. So, which is kind of cool because and you'll feel good because you did something for your body, but it's really kind of a catch-22, like not catch-22, actually a whole picture. You're getting when you move, because you are activating left and right brain. And if you can do that, I'm not saying you have to go dance or whatever, but even if you can lift your leg up, one leg, and then balance on the other leg, you're activating your right and your left brain, which is super important for trauma. And then go to a class, like for me, like I just have a routine, and I write it down, and it's so simple. It's a piece of paper, and I write down Monday, all right, I'm going to go to bar or dance class or whatever. And I don't typically love all these classes, but what I do know is that I feel better when I'm done. And so if I have it written down, then I actually I need to go, because sometimes your brain doesn't want to do that either. You don't know how you're going to feel tomorrow. But if you write it down, you can just follow the instructions. I think that you're running from your trauma or your pain, but you're actually running from your healing. And that's the truth. And I hope that that these tips have helped you guys, and I hope that you have a great and wonderful day.
Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance, and I saved hundreds with the money I